What's up, everybody? First, I want to say thanks for clicking on this video. It means a lot to me, so thank you for being here. I've been a COD player for a long time now. I started playing since World at War, and I started streaming Modern Warfare 2019 to start my streaming career. I wanted to give my first impressions on the Black Ops 6 beta and a bit on the company itself as well. So hopefully this video helps at least one person out. Like the YouTube title says, I pre-ordered it a while back and I ended up refunding it on the first day of the beta. I couldn't stand it. It gave me a bad impression with how long it just takes to just get into the game is insane, which is a 5 minutes and 54 seconds, which I think is just crazy. That's a big waste of my time and shows that they don't actually care. It did say that I didn't have access to it, which is one reason it did take so long. But I mean, the whole point of the game hub is to make things more convenient. And it seems every step of the way that it does the exact opposite, which is infuriating to me. It just wastes my time. I do want to say that my computer is current gen, is no means out of date. I have a 4090, a Ryzen 9 7950X 3D, 32 gigabytes, 52 millihertz RAM, and a current M.2 SSD. So by no means am I under the recommended specs for this game. Having multiple games in one hub, like I said, is just terrible. I don't know why they keep doing this. It's not beneficial to anybody that I can think of. It may just be a PC problem. I'm assuming console doesn't have the issue, but PC just continues to show that. I don't know if it's a bad port and they start with console or what, but it's just infuriating. Just issues with running the game. Another reason I refunded it was because out of the 5 games that I did end up playing on the beta, I crashed on the first one, so I wasn't able to finish that one, and then I crashed on the last one. So I didn't want to waste another 5 minutes of my time booting back into the game. Like, that just didn't seem like a good use of my time. So I was like, I'm over it. I'm just gonna refund it. Yeah, I'm done with it. And I get that this is a beta, right? I'm not saying I expect it to be perfect by any means, but if you're touting that your game has been in development for 4 years, I expect there to be, you know, a little bit more polish. I just don't get why it's an issue year after year after year, back to back, with connection issues. It's been there since Modern Warfare 2019, so years and years. That is just it's never fixed, and it just shows me that they are not actively working on it. They don't care. I will give them some slack that this is their first up-to-date engine that they've used, but I mean, come on, it's been 4 years. You've had 4 years of development. There's no excuse. Let's be clear that this build that we are playing currently in the beta is going to be a near build of what actually comes out on release day. They have a month. They have a month from this beta until the game comes out. You're not going to have enough time to fix everything that everyone has problems with. Only a few things are going to get fixed. They're big priorities, of course, and then everything else is going to fall by the wayside. And then they're probably going to take a vacation and not work on the game at all, considering what happened the past couple times. They just don't care. Moving on to some of my gripes and complaints. The training, I think if you're going to make a training, you've got to encompass like all the little quirks about the game and all the little things. I find it weird that omnidirectional movement is the only thing in the training. I feel like that the automatic sprint, automatic mantle, automatic crouch, I feel like that should have been in the tutorial. I don't know why it wasn't in there. The only reason I can think is that it's just a showcase to be like, oh, hey, this is what we added new to the game. This is omnidirectional movement, because it's literally just dive, shoot, lay down, shoot the people coming at you. Like you're still doing the same thing. It just looks different, right? It's just a new coat of paint. That's all that it is. The hit reg is still absolutely dog shit. It doesn't make any sense how it is still an issue, except if it's some sort of SBMM hit reg that's going on, something in the back end, something that they've programmed. I don't know if it's intentional or accidental. Either way, it's been going on for years. I felt this issue since 2019 Modern Warfare. I don't know what's been going on. It just makes me feel like I can't play the game at all. I feel like I'm dealing a bunch of damage. Most of these bullets that I'm shooting should be hitting, and they're just not. And somebody else kills me in 4 to 5 bullets when I know for a fact I have hit more than that. And I'm not saying that I'm the best at accuracy in this game by any means. I'm not the best at any part of this game, but I know when my bullets should be hitting. Like, I've played a lot of video games, and this is the only game that I feel that this is an issue. The map size, I feel like, is good for this specific game. I feel as though they are too small. It's too fast. You're running around too fast. Either you need to be slowed down or the maps need to be bigger. I don't know what it is. They do feel good. They are varied. Most of the maps, again, I only played on the first day, so I can't speak on the new maps that came out or whatever. But the 3 lanes, I thought they were going to bring that back. It doesn't really seem like it. There seems to be a bunch of vantage points and places you can shoot. So I don't know if that's something that they just decided to say that they were going to do and they didn't implement it, or something that they were like, well, maybe they don't have to be traditional 3 lanes and we could just say that they're the 3-lane format. I could be wrong. Maybe they are 3 lanes. I'm not like a map developer or anything, but they just don't feel good. They don't feel like classic Call of Duty. Time to heal is also something else with the map size. Like, once I get into a gunfight and I win that gunfight, you know, I'm by the time I get into another gunfight, I'm not going to heal. I'm not going to be able to win the next one. So you're making a meta that requires either stims as your attack, or you just have to have quick fix, and that's just frustrating. I don't like the meta idea that we have in Call of Duty currently, that you have to use this weapon, you have to use these perks just to get a win. You know, to have fun, you want to win, right? You're playing Call of Duty to win. The gun meta, I think it's been an issue. It's one of the reasons I stopped playing Call of Duty so much, is just you essentially have to have the meta builds. You gotta do your research. You gotta be like, oh, well, what do I need on this weapon so that way I can be the best? Because if you don't, at least in my lobbies, the higher lobbies, you're just gonna get absolutely smacked. Like, there's no getting around it. You're just screwed. Nothing you can do. It's gonna outbeat you every time. So you can't have fun unless you're using meta builds. And I think that the culture that Call of Duty has continued to perpetuate is just bad. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to have fun. I want to use the guns that I want to use. I don't want to have to use this specific weapon just so I can win. I don't want to have to use this specific perk just so I can live. It's just absolutely stupid. I think that needs to be changed. Packet burst. It's been years, Call of Duty. You've been releasing games for years, and you're still having issues with packet burst and connection. I just don't get it. I don't think there's any fixing it. There's almost no fix in my mind that they could implement that they haven't been trying to do for years. I think that their port or their build or something is just wrong. It's just issue after issue, year after year. It's just frustrating. I'm just tired of it. The gunsmith, I think, needs a little bit of a rework. I mean, it's also in my positive, so I'm not going to speak too much on the con, except for the fire rate. I think that needs to come back. I don't know why they got rid of it. I think that's, you know, very important to know. It's something I constantly look at. I want damage and fire rate to be separated. I don't want them together. I want to be able to look how fast my gun is going to shoot, because then that's going to give a determination of how fast am I going to output damage. I think that they need to add that back in. Don't know why it was taken out. Very frustrating. Spawns, again, 4 years of development and you cannot figure out your spawns. I don't know why. We are playtesting your game for you. That seems to be the only reason you're releasing this beta, is so we can do your job. It's just frustrating. How are your spawns this bad in this game if you've had 4 years of development? 4 years and it is this bad. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You've had people play your game. I'm sure somebody has told you once before your spawns in your game are absolute dog shit. I just don't get how there's that disconnect between the players and the company, and it seems like the company only wants to listen to the high profile Twitch streamers, when in reality, I mean, they make up quite a big, you know, base, right? People are going to listen to them, but I think you also need to listen to the little guys too, like me. The Omni Movement, I think, is good. I'm not going to say that it's good or bad. I do have it in my cons, mainly just because there's a little bit of a learning curve is what I'm going to attribute it to, just because like laying on your back, you look like a dead body. So there'd be the occasional time where you shoot a dead body, or you're like, oh, that's just a dead body, and then they end up killing you because it was a player laying on their back. I think that the dead bodies need to despawn faster, or possibly like not be there except for like maybe 1 second or something like that. They're just on the map for way longer than they need to be. I think they serve no purpose. Nobody's gonna like go look at a dead body and be like, wow, this looks super cool. Now they're running around, they're getting in the next gunfight, they're not gonna stop and look. So just get rid of the bodies faster. Score streak prices, I think, need to be reworked. The UAV is astronomically high, in my opinion. I don't think that they need to be that high. I get they're trying to mitigate the UAV spam and everything like that. Like, they don't want just constant UAVs up all the time. But I still think it's just slightly higher than it needs to be. Also, the Hellstorm, it does seem good. But again, seems a little too high. I mean, maybe it makes more sense when the rest of the game comes out and you get the rest of the score streaks and there's some good stuff in between, but it just seems like a weird choice. Moving on to the neutral side of things, the TTK I would say is overall good in my opinion, except for, you know, when you feel like that your bullets aren't connecting. But for like the map size, I think that it's good. They just need to either make the maps bigger or have the movement slowed down a smidge. It's just too fast. Like you're able to cross the map in maybe 8 seconds, which is insane. It's entirely too fast. The Omni Movement, I also have a neutral. I know I said it was somewhat in the cons, but I do think that it is overall a good improvement, and I think it is the standard they have set going forward for sure. I think it's going to be in the next Call of Duties for a while. No real complaints. It's just a little clunky right now while everybody learns it, and then, you know, they get their bearings with how they implement it and stuff like that. But overall, I would say that it's neutral. Visuals and color palette, I think they're good. The maps look varied. The color palette looks decent. I like the more colorful style that Treyarch has compared to Raven. Raven has a little bit more grounded, realistic look to it, as Treyarch has more of a, you know, saturated feel, more arcadey look. I do like the visuals in this one. Moving on to the positives, I would say Gunsmith overall is positive, except for taking away my fire rate. You know, that's one thing. Bring it back, please. I love that. That Gunsmith is good. Definitely not a hell of a lot of attachments like there used to be. It is early, so they could come back, but it seems like they are trying to move away from that. And the pros and cons on the Gunsmith, I think, are a good benefit. I think that having just pros is interesting. I don't necessarily think it's bad, but not having cons, I feel like may be disruptive. I don't think that it will, but I feel like it could possibly be an issue. But overall, I would say it's a positive. I like that how the Gunsmith is right now, except for the fire rate, of course. Like I said, this game's a beta. By no means am I expecting perfect, you know, a perfect game right this second. No. Do I think it should be in a better spot? Yes. I've been playing a lot of Deadlock. That doesn't even have a release date, and it's in early, I wouldn't even say early access. It's in play test. And I already feel like it's in a way better state than Call of Duty is. I know that they probably had more development time, but Call of Duty is just, I mean, you have a basis. You have something to work off of. You're not building from the ground up. And it's just time and time again, it just shows that it doesn't seem like they really care. But those are my opinions. Overall, I don't think I'm going to buy Black Ops 6. I could possibly buy it for the zombies. The zombies looks interesting. But they've lost me, I think. I don't know if it's because I'm getting old and I've played the old Call of Duties and I'm just sort of like growing up, and they are growing up as well, and we're growing up in different directions, and you're trying to appeal more towards your newer player base. But I feel like just the older Call of Duty players, they're just kind of, for the most part, you know, over it. I just don't think that it's really for us. I think it's for the new age of gamers, unfortunately, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, this is my opinion. The game may just not be for me, and that's fine as long as everybody likes it. I just see a bunch of red flags, and have seen a bunch of red flags that have continued to be neglected over and over again, and I just don't think they have any sort of agenda to fix them. I think that they will continue to be bad, and they just don't care because they're making money. They're selling skins. They're selling their battle pass. I just don't think that it's ever going to be something that goes away. I think that these problems are going to exist for a while until people really start complaining. And I think that's another issue, is that people just buy the new Call of Duty. I'm definitely one of the people that do that. So I'm definitely at fault for doing it. Just buying the new Call of Duty and, you know, not really doing anything about it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of giving them chances. I'm just done. I'm over it. I just wish that it, you know, it would be good like the old days, but I don't think there's any going back to that, unfortunately. So here we are. But like I said, hopefully at least this helps one person, maybe save you some money. I don't know. Looking forward to seeing what they do in the future. If they fix it, you know, I'll get back into it. But it just seems like too little too late. It's been issue after issue, game after game, and I'm just kind of over it, unfortunately. So let me know what you think in the comments, you know, if this helped you or anything like that. I'm really curious to hear what you guys say. Maybe I'm just wrong and I'm one of the few people that think this, you know, I could be in the minority on this one, but I'm really curious what people have to say. it's definitely something interesting. So I'm curious what you guys think. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you later.